Hi, guys, and welcome back to Women Empowerment Wednesday. So, today we have the beautiful Elizabeth. And, Elizabeth, I'm so happy that we crossed paths. She is actually located out in sunny Florida. So, for us Midwesterners, we're jealous of your weather down there. But, Elizabeth, just tell us a little bit about yourself and what you do.
Yes, Victoria. Thank you so much for having me, first of all. And it is a little bit sunny here. I have to mention that as well. So
Uh,
I am I am a joy coach, and joy is a byproduct of really connecting with ourselves, loving ourselves, trusting ourselves. And so what I love to do is help women reconnect to themselves after motherhood, maybe, a lot of things like corporate career, starting their own
mhm.
business, and kind of getting lost in just the shuffle of life.
Yes, and I love that because that's what I'm about too. And I think it's important that we like take a pause, a moment, and then again reflect on, everything that, like you said, life transitions, motherhood, career shifts, all that good stuff. So I
Yeah.
know that when we talked before, you had mentioned that you're big into identity coaching. So how did you find your way into that?
Uh, I had to get lost first, honestly. And like I said, all those things that I mentioned, I was lost in a career that was not serving me. I was not feeling like I was living a purpose-driven life.
Hmm.
I have a special needs son, and then I
Okay.
had another baby, and so I was just mom, work, wife. I completely lost who I was, and so I had to take a step back from all of those things eventually and peel back the layers to really reconnect with me and
Hmm.
find out what it was that I wanted out of this life, and what did purpose driven look like to me, and how did I embody that, and so a lot of that is around our identity and who we are and how we identify in the world.
Yes, and I know like having previous conversations with like other colleagues, when someone asks you like tell me about yourself, the first thing that we identify as like a mom or a wife. It's like we don't really identify with who we are as like an actual person. We identify with like different labels and it's crazy.
Yes, yes. And
Definitely.
I found myself like just talking about that a lot too. When someone would be like,
Hmm.
"Hey, so how are you? What are you doing?" I'm like, "Oh, well, my kids." And I would just lead with like, "Oh, we're great, but like last night we didn't sleep that well." Or, it just
Hmm.
like always be something about someone else. It was never like me checking in really when someone would just ask something simple like that, like, "How are you?" And I'd be like,
Exactly.
"Oh, yeah." It was based on how everyone else was doing.
Yeah, and I agree because I've done like the same thing. So, how do one-on-one patterns show up in our daily lives without us realizing it?
Oh, this is a great question. Um, we all have patterns. We all have
Hmm.
things that we are conditioned to believe about ourselves
Right.
and um and and just embody, honestly. I think one of the best ways that you can find them and see them showing up in your life is look for those areas where you feel frustration, bitterness, anger, and really examine those situations, because other than that, the other patterns, there's no, like, I don't want to say fixing, but there's not really anything we need to do with those patterns because they're most likely a positive thing that's working in our benefit. A lot of
Okay.
times, if we want to see a pattern that's showing up in our life, it's around the frustration and something that just like keeps happening in our life. Like if we keep meeting the same kind of guy, or
Right.
we're there's something about that, like we really need to check in with ourselves and say like, no, we're not broken, there's nothing wrong with me. There's something though that I am doing, and I continue to like repeat. So those areas of frustration and hurt, anger, things like that that show up in your life, that's where we would want to look at, like, that's how you can really see that there's probably a pattern that exists.
Okay.
And then um I find it extremely helpful to talk to someone else, hear yourself say it out loud,
Hmm.
and let them tell you their perspective. Of course, it has to be a safe space to really see the patterns, but
Right.
recognizing that one exists usually shows up with that frustration, anger, bitterness, something like along those lines.
Okay. So I know that we talked about like those one-on-one patterns. What are some common like unhealthy patterns that you see within your clients or just women that you interact with?
Uh, they It varies, honestly, but I want to say it ultimately comes down to that identity piece and that
Okay.
self love, self trust. Like, um, a lot of times our patterns are repeated because we don't trust ourselves anymore, or
Mm,
we never learned how to trust ourselves. And
okay.
I really believe that our bodies guide us. Like if we, again, like I said, when you feel the frustration, when you feel anger,
Mm-hmm.
our that is not to be ignored. Like we feel feelings just like we feel happiness and joy. Those are
Yes.
like knowing why those feelings show up in our body, and then learning how to replicate the joy, replicate the happiness, like bring more of that energy in, really helps us make the shifts that we need to in our lives to actually like make some progress if that's what we are hoping to do.
Yes. And that's a big thing that I've been learning just to do on my own is pay attention to my body because our bodies will tell us before our mind does. And it's like
Absolutely.
your stress level or how you feel or butterflies or you're getting the jitters, like different things. You get sick. Like your body is telling you like, hello, listen to
Yes.
me. And it's like
Yes.
we get in our head. So that's extremely important, guys. So make sure you wrote that down. Um, so why do you feel like so many people stay stuck in patterns that they know that just aren't serving them? It's not making their day-to-day life any better.
I think a lot of us accept that that is the way it is.
Okay.
And we don't recognize that we get to choose.
Yeah, true.
And so like or we don't think it can be any different. Like maybe the way that we were raised or the models that we've had in our life were like this is just the way it is. This is
Hmm.
what we have to deal with. This is how it is for us, you know. And I think in some cases there are other ways of looking at things. Like we can change our own perspectives. We do get to choose. We get to
Right.
wake up and decide, am I going to be angry about where I have to go to work today and that I'd rather be doing something else and
Right.
kind of start my day off mad, or am I going to choose to be happy because I have a job to go to and it affords me
Hmm.
the freedom to do whatever I like to do that actually does bring happiness and joy to me. And then,
Right.
of course, like taking responsibility for those areas in our lives where if we're not happy, we can create that happiness and ask ourselves, like, what do I want? Like, that is something I do all the time. I talk about it all day long. Like, if you have
Hmm.
not sat down with yourself and asked what you want, and just start with one situation that, like, if you're in a bad relationship, if you're not loving your job anymore, get really, really clear on what you want. Get that clarity in your body, feel relief
Yep.
around a decision that you want to make, and then start taking the steps to get there. Because then you're
Yes.
not waking up going to a crappy job every day that you just have to do because you need to pay the bills. Like
Yep.
you're taking steps to get there, to maybe a different job or some other thing, some other relationship, like whatever the case may be. So yeah, definitely clarity, all of that, like huge in getting real clear on what we want to actually get there and not accept
Yes.
that it has to be this way.
And I couldn't agree more. So basically, from what I gather from everything you said, is perception is everything. Perception and being intentional about your time, and your just thought process. And a lot of it is just reframing our mindsets to think more positively. And like something that I'll share with you and I've been telling other people as well, like sometimes that negative self-talk can really get us going and just put us in such a funk. And it happens so
Yes.
quickly. So whenever
Yes.
like you guys hear something and it's negative, it's going through your mind or whatever, it's a negative thought, stop it by saying something because you can't speak and think at the same time. So I don't automatically like, okay, I can't do this, and then you speak like I can do this, and you speak against whatever your mind is trying to process and tell you, and eventually it'll help you again reframe your mindset. So
Yeah.
very good points, Elizabeth,
Yes.
for sure.
Yes, I love that.
So can you share a personal pattern that you had to break in your own life?
Uh, I feel I feel like I am breaking personal patterns all the time.
Yes.
It's so funny because it's not like I think when I first started like on a like personal growth development journey, I thought like, oh, I'll just have to read a few books and then I'll be like it'll
I'll be
everything will
fixed.
change. Yeah, exactly. It doesn't work like that. Like there's always for me, I feel like there's always something that I want to improve, and I get
Hmm.
so excited about that. I would say more recently, one of the patterns that I have consciously had to make an effort to change is around my business and my
Okay.
family, and really learning how to trust myself that when I say this is my hard stop for work, I'm not going to keep working beyond this time because I'm going to go be with my children. Um,
Yes.
I that's a really hard pattern because I am
Hmm.
very driven. I'm very motivated. When I get in this space, I don't want to leave it because I love it so much. I love my
Yes.
children too. When I'm in that space, I'm very happy to be in that space, but it's so
Hmm.
hard sometimes to like tear myself away.
Because it's your baby. Like
Yeah,
this is another baby. It's an extension of
exactly.
you.
Exactly, exactly. So that's a pattern that I am actively working on. And I mean, I set 2 alarms for myself because I'll give
Hmm.
myself like a 30-minute warning, like wrap it up. You said you were going to go take your child
Oh,
to the
okay.
playground today, like, or whatever they want to do. Like,
Yeah.
I am dedicating that time to them and I'm making sure that I have days scheduled so that I can have one-on-one time with both my boys separately and really enjoy them as children because that's
Yeah.
something that I wanted to incorporate in my life when I started my own business. And I recognized the pattern that was showing up for me was that I thought I had to treat my business the same way I treated my life when I was in like the corporate world where I had to
Hmm.
be at my desk 9 to 5 for it to be for success and for me
Right.
to be successful. So like there's a lot of definitions around that that I had to work on too, but the pattern was that I was not letting go of the work piece and making prioritizing my family the way I wanted to. And
Right.
yeah, so just giving myself the space and grace to, you
Girl.
know, like show up in the ways that I want to for both things, for both parts of my
Yes.
life.
And I think that that's something that's going to like resonate with so many people because it's resonating with me. Because again, like as an entrepreneur and a mom, like we get caught up in like, all right, it's 11 o'clock at night. Now I'm on my phone. I got to answer these emails. And it's like, it's never ending. Like at 3 in the
Yes.
morning when you're asleep, you wake up with an idea. Like it's
Yeah.
literally, you have to like, it's very hard, guys, if you're not an entrepreneur or a mom, like to turn it off. Like
Yep.
it,
Yep.
it's mind boggling. And like you said, setting those alarms, which I think is a good idea because me and another colleague, and she's a mom and she's a business owner, we're just talking about this. So she'll use like the weekend completely to just not even be on social media and to spend
Yes.
time with her baby. Because it's like we start these businesses not to be working all the time. We start them to have that time freedom. So yeah, that's a good one. But I'm gonna start doing that alarm, the 30 minutes, like, okay, Victoria, like, all right, wrap it up, make your notes, whatever.
Yep.
It's time to spend family time.
Yeah, and it'll still be here. And you know what, too? The good thing about it and what's so cool is there's so much clarity that we get to
Mhm.
when we get to pull ourselves out of that situation. We actually, it's just like the clarity that we get when we're away from our kids. Like we come back better. We come
And more
back to our
clear.
exactly. We come back to our business like more clear about something. Just like when you get away from like being a mom all and mom it
Hmm.
you get that break and then you go back and you can be a better mom. It really does like
Yes.
that. Oh,
A
like
balance, like
it works so
aha
well.
moment.
Yes.
Look, we could talk about this all day. Let me go to the
I
next
know.
question because like that's something that I'm just dealing with now. So I definitely understand. So what was a turning point for you where you were just like, I cannot keep showing up like this?
Oh, I woke up every day mad.
Oh,
Like every day I was mad. I had a lot of mom guilt because I was still working a corporate job. I was a management accountant for years.
hmm.
I worked for a private equity company that literally demanded so much of me. And I was
Yes.
a yes woman. Like I just was like, in order for me to be successful, I have to show up. I have to like prove myself here.
Yep.
I won't get the raise. I won't get the promotion if I don't put in the time
Hmm.
and really like had to get like clear with myself, like this isn't working. And then when I had my second baby, that's when it was like I was already burning out. I was already kind of done with that life, but
Yeah.
forcing it and then felt like I was not around my children because I wasn't. I was working all the time.
Hmm.
I'm like, yeah, okay, great. We can provide for them, but I'm missing everything. And so now I'm even more
Exactly.
bitter because I'm not around my children and getting to be their mom, which is why I had children to begin with. So,
Exactly.
yeah, it took me feeling really bad inside to just finally be like, I can't do this anymore. I need to have more relief in my life. I know that there's a better
Hmm.
way of living. This is not it. What does this look like for me? And was able to take, after figuring out how we would work everything out, ended up leaving my corporate career to start this. And
Yes.
yes, yes, and give myself the space and the clarity and the like time to be a mom, and just really it changed my life.
And it's important, especially like when they're younger, like those are the years that mold them into who they become as adults. Like,
Yeah.
so it's important that we spend the time. Like, I know for my son, and I was in the corporate realm, but I'm like, okay, I'm taking off for this event. I'm going to always be a room mom. I'm doing the field trips. Like, you guys aren't going to dictate how my son grows up just because, like, as a young child, my dad was always working, so he like missed out on a lot of things, and my mom was there, so it's like I don't want to be that parent that misses out on anything, which is, I
Yeah.
think, was a driving force of me becoming like an entrepreneur as well, because it's like, well, I can make my own schedule. So you did the right thing, mom, so I'm proud that you had that realization, because it's huge, and I'm
Yes.
sure your boys
Yes.
would be grateful for it. If they're not grateful now, when they get older, they'll look back and be
Yeah.
like, mom was really there for me. um
Yes.
and it's the little things, like, seriously.
Hmm.
But how would someone else like that maybe watching this begin to identify like their own patterns that they maybe need to fix? And I
I
know it's different for everybody too.
Yeah, I think we kind of touched on it. I think um recognizing like where those heavy, not so good feelings are showing up in your life
Okay.
is a big indicator of something needs to change here. And
Hmm.
I think again, we tell ourselves it has to be a certain way. Like maybe you went to college for it. Like that, like I
Hmm.
have my master's degree in accounting. I was committed to accounting. I'm going to make this work because I
Right.
have all this student loan debt. This is what I said I was going to do. I'm following through. All of those things. It took a lot for me to walk away from that, and now I'm
Hmm.
completely fine with it. I'm actually so happy that I did it. But like, we tell ourselves that we have to be in a certain situation because that's what we chose, and we forget
Hmm.
to tell ourselves that we can change our minds. And so I would say just really look for those areas in your life. If there's bitterness, like that, like frustration, just like you feel unsettled, like not
Hmm.
happy in those situations, that is telling you something. That's how you know there's a pattern in your life. it's
Hmm.
it's like it's repeating itself, and it's showing up that way because there is frustration around it. It's not meant for you.
Exactly. So being aware, guys, just paying attention, like you said, what isn't fulfilling you? What's fulfilling you? Where do you find your happiness? Run towards that and run away from anything else that's bringing you any type of unhappiness. Because
Yes,
life is short.
it
So, what
is.
would you say, Elizabeth, is the connection between identity and then the relationships we attract? So, we talked about this a little bit when you were talking about like being in a relationship with somebody, but can you break that down a little bit for everybody?
Absolutely. Okay, so I get chills around this
I
because
saw that.
I this is where the like magic sauce is, right?
Hmm.
When we are authentically ourselves, and that means we get to be who we are at our core.
Hmm.
We're happiest when we are who we are. We get to be us, where there's no hiding, there's no filtering, there's no
Yes.
shutting down parts of ourselves. It is being fully you. When you can do that and trust that that version of you is perfectly fine, and
Hmm.
that there's nothing wrong with you, and all of those things, like energetically, that is your identity. And
Yep.
you will attract other people. You will attract healthier relationships that are more aligned with
Yes.
who you are. They won't feel forced. They won't
Nope.
feel like you don't have to make anything work, again, like
Everything will
forcing it.
flow.
It flows. It's so easy. And that's why I say it's like the magic sauce, because then when the trust and love and authenticity that comes out of that for you changes
Mm-hmm.
everything about the relationships that you have, what you're willing to accept from people and what you're not.
Yes.
All yeah, like all of that just kind of starts to flow together. And so yeah, again, I'm like chills over here
Because
because
you're happier. And it's like
yes,
some of us, like, I feel like I didn't come to this recollection until I like made it to 30. So like don't like there's no timeline, guys, for when you like come and wake up to like this aha moment, but just do it because you're so happy. You can laugh the ugliest, you can cry the ugliest, and these people will accept you for who you are. Like,
yes,
and
yes,
you can be free. Like, you don't have to try to fit into like the societal norms that Instagram or TikTok says we have to have. You can just literally be yourself, and the right people will find you. You will find the right
yes,
people. And that's like,
yes,
I love TikTok because it's such a wide range of people finding their people. Like it's not
yes.
superficial. Like don't even get me started on that.
No, I
Okay.
know, but even this interaction though too, and how we are connected for me to be here
Yes.
today, I'm like I feel like that's aligned because of who I am and the choices that I make authentically, living my
Yes.
life as who I am, showing up as me, only me. There's only one me,
There's
like
only you, only one
right,
Elizabeth.
like
Like,
yes, and knowing the uniqueness and like all of the things that I bring when I show up as me, and how
mhm.
freaking awesome that is, like for each
Yes.
one of us to be uniquely us, like there is no other us. And we got to own that, right? We got to
Yes.
own it.
And love it. Love on yourself.
Yes.
Um, so how do you help clients rebuild their identity after they've lost themselves?
Okay. So one of the first things that I love to do is help them reconnect to something from childhood.
Ooh, okay.
So yes, so like my program is called Blowing Bubbles. It's called that because blowing bubbles was something that was very simple. It's also breath work and stuff involved in it
Hmm.
too. But
I love that.
I always say that, you know, you don't meet many people who are pissed off blowing bubbles. Like, not that you
Right.
see a lot of people like out there blowing bubbles, but like
Right.
it was when I had my children that I reconnected to that. And I can tell you, like, when we are having a moment that's escalated, all we have to do is go outside, grab some bubbles, everyone's happy again. It really does shift our mood. So one of the first things that I suggest that someone do is just reconnect to something from childhood. And if it starts with blowing bubbles, then it's such a good way to just kind of like reconnect with us, and in a time that maybe we felt more joy. And if it wasn't from childhood, maybe from another moment where you recall being the happiest that you have ever been. And really just let yourself sit in that moment and visualize it, and do that repeatedly, like on repeat, until you start to get to feel that joy in your body on a
Mhm.
regular basis.
I love that. I'm gonna tell my son, he's 14, almost 15, but every time he gets attitude, let's go blow some bubbles. Let's
Yes.
I'm gonna have to do that. That is really good.
Thank you.
But that's important because, like you said, a lot of things are rooted from like childhood. So to go back to that happy place, whether it was watching cartoons, eating a bowl of cereal on Sunday, watching cartoons, like something as simple as that
Yes.
can just be like
Yes.
your happy place.
Yes, yes, exactly, exactly. Something
So,
nostalgic, something that, yeah, just,
yeah.
yeah, it brings you back.
And I love that. Now that's good. Like my sister, she has her own painting business and it's about nostalgic stuff and taking people back to their childhood and like
Oh,
painting like through therapy. So like I love it. I love what you just said. Like everything, but like you said, everything's about alignment. Like everything is coming together. We're meeting the right people. Um, I'm just excited. But let me go. Let me keep going. So what are some signs that someone is operating from a misaligned identity?
oh, I feel like I keep going back to this, but again, I think
Okay.
it's when we start to feel frustrated, and like when it's not just like when you are at a point when you're like, this isn't working, nothing is working, um, and also so the frustration comes from like maybe having a bad relationship, or
Okay.
not getting along with your family, not getting along with people at work, like things like that. Like those are like the real life like things that show up when we're misaligned. I think too we start to second guess ourselves a lot.
Mm,
We'll like make a decision, and then we'll be like, oh, should I have done that? I shouldn't have done that. Or if you have just a simple conversation like, I shouldn't have said that, they probably think I'm so stupid. Like getting in your head and like spiraling, those are signs of misalignment. And
Right.
because you don't trust yourself anymore. That's what that is saying, is like, I don't trust myself to have a conversation with someone without screwing it up. Or, I don't trust myself to show up fully with my children, and
Hmm.
or I don't feel like I'm a good mom, or whatever the case may be. And you kind of like bring that into the relationship.
Yeah.
It's and then it comes out sideways sometimes. Then you see like how people respond. That's a big
Hmm.
part of it. If people are responding to you in a way that doesn't feel good, they take advantage of you. You don't feel good about relationships. You feel like after you have certain interactions with people, they drain you. They're just takers. Like,
Yes.
that is telling you you are misaligned with something, because you're not creating clear boundaries. You don't have I'm like, you can't tell them like, no, I don't want to do that. That doesn't feel good. People get
Right.
used to that, right? So like it shows up in those ways. I was trying to think of like real life, like how does it show up? But yeah, I mean, it's frustration, and that's truly like you have left a piece of you. You've
Hmm.
abandoned part of you to get to this point, and it shows up with how people treat you,
That's
essentially.
crazy. That was deep. So if you guys missed that, please rewind like back a couple minutes and replay that, because that was deep and that's very true. Um, so thank you. I love that you're very passionate and I can feel like your passion behind you being a life coach. But you also have a podcast. So
I
tell us a
do.
little bit about your podcast, how long you've been doing it, and all the good information with that.
Oh my gosh. Okay, yes. So I am a co-host. My co-host name is Olivia. We started Bitchin' and Boozin'. It
Ooh,
is a feel good, like chit chat with your bestie, with a bevy, of
yes.
course. So we get together and we talk about all kinds of topics, and
Okay.
so it's a lot of fun. I mean, we're classified as like wellness and self-help, growth development, all of those things, but it really is
I
very
love it.
lighthearted and fun. And we have really cool guests that come on too, and share their perspectives on things as well.
Okay.
And we've been doing the podcast now for it's probably right at a year. We just did episode
Nice.
24. So yeah, that would be a year, because we do bi-weekly releases. So every
Okay.
other Wednesday, we release an episode, and you can get us anywhere where you get your podcasts.
Well, congratulations. And so
Mhm.
I'll get that information for you in a little bit, just so whoever's watching the video, if they want to follow you, they'll be able to reach out. So
Thanks.
why do you think like humor is important as far as like healing and personal growth?
Because it's just not that serious. It's
Yeah.
really not. We complicate things so much, and we get so in our feels in our head, and we kind of let those things run the show, and we forget that it's really not that big of a deal. Life is short. You said that earlier.
Mm-hmm.
I go on a tangent about that, but really we make things more complicated than we need to. And
Mm-hmm.
we really, there's a lot of heaviness that's in our world. We don't need to bring it into our lives, and create more heaviness in our own lives. Like, wherever you can laugh, laugh.
Laugh, please. Like from
Yes.
your diaphragm, just
Yes.
laugh, please.
Yes.
Because it's good for the soul and it's good, again, like you said, for healing and personal development, everything. Just life, like we said earlier, life is too short to be
It really
unhappy.
is.
Like whatever you're dealing with today, will it even matter in a couple days? If
No.
not, just let it go.
Yeah.
Like just let it go.
Yeah. Yeah.
So, what has been like your favorite or most impactful conversation on your podcast?
Oh my gosh, I love them all. We end every
I love that.
conversation. I know. We end everyone saying this was my favorite one so far. I just love getting to show up and be real.
Hmm.
But if I had to pick a topic, it's always something around like self self development and like growth. I just love that topic so
I
much.
can tell.
Yes, but I think actually, in this moment I'm feeling, one of my favorite conversations was recent, actually, where we talked
Okay.
about like, if today was your last day,
Ooh.
would this actually be that big of a deal? Like, I think it was
Yeah.
episode 23 that we had that
Okay.
conversation. And it was like, we both kind of showed up for the podcast, not in a great mood. And we had a topic that we wanted to talk about that was lighthearted and fun. And we
Hmm.
both were just like, this isn't what my mood today. And so we just
Yeah.
hit record and we were like, let's chat this out in real time. And
I
it
love
came
that.
up that way. It's like, if today was our last day here, would all this stuff matter? And I think that just having that check in with yourself, if you can say something like that in a moment when you're making a big deal out of something, um, it really helps put things into perspective. And you're just like, you know
Yeah.
what? No, it really doesn't matter. But at the end of the day, like, if it helps you be a more kinder, gentler, loving human, like, it's really,
Hmm.
let it go. Just let it
Yeah.
go.
Definitely. So if someone could take away one thing about identity from this entire conversation, what would you want that to be?
Hmm. Learn who you are.
Okay.
Learn who you are. And there are so many ways to do that and connect with you. And I would say, uh, saying it out loud, getting to speak
Hmm.
it. So talking to someone in a safe space and actually like talking about what you want out of this life. What do you feel like your purpose is? And
Hmm.
getting something out of, like, we get so, as a human race, we need to feel like we have a purpose here.
Yeah.
And so many of us live like looking and thinking it's this like really hard thing to find, and that we may never find out what our purpose is. And I think, um, you know, that is a big part of our identity and who we are. And so just get really, really good at knowing who you are and what you
Hmm.
want. That is probably the biggest thing you can do for your identity. And there are so many cool resources out there that help you connect with that part of you.
All right. Well, I love that. I love this entire interview. Again, I can feel your vibe and your happiness when you talk about certain things. And I feel like you're walking in your purpose and your passion. And when you come across people who are, it's fulfilling for them, you can tell, like, again, I'm virtual, but I can like feel your energy.
Same.
And so thank you. And so I love everything that you're doing. I know that you're out here like making a difference in so many different women's lives. And you're just a beautiful person overall. So again, thank you for coming on the
Thank you.
show. I hopefully soon, God willing, we'll be able to meet in person. But
I
how
love that.
can everyone reach out to you as far as like your podcast, your coaching services, social media? If they just want to reach out to you about being a mom, how can they find you?
Yes, absolutely. Thank you. So our podcast is everywhere that podcasts are found. You can find us on Spotify, Apple, all anywhere. But
Okay.
social media is probably the best place to reach out to me. On Instagram, I am coach_Elizabeth_G.
Okay.
Sorry, that's really annoying, but I,
No,
I will
you're fine.
fix
And
that
I'll
eventually.
put it in the caption as well so they can find you and just click on it.
Thank you. And
You're
then
welcome.
Facebook, it's Elizabeth Grandinetti, and spelled
Okay.
Grandinetti. And then I'm also on TikTok. And so
Okay.
and on there I'm This Way to Joy. And yeah, so anywhere messaging like that. And then I do have a website too. It's elizabeth-grand.com. So all of those are
Okay.
fantastic ways of reaching out to me. But yeah, anything that you want to, like, even just have a conversation or connect, I am all about that.
Yes, I love that. I trust her, guys. So please reach out. I will be following you on TikTok because I think that's the only platform I'm not following you on. But again, thank you, Elizabeth. And
Thank
as
you.
always, ladies, you're welcome. As always, if any of you want to come on Women Empowerment Wednesday, even if you don't have a business, but you have like a story to tell, you have something you want to get off your chest, like you said, talk in real time, I'm here. So reach out to me. I'll have all the details below. But I hope that you enjoyed this episode. Rewatch it, share it with a friend. This, if it doesn't resonate with you, I'm sure it'll resonate with somebody because it definitely resonated with me. But thank you and have a great Wednesday, guys.